You lot wanted the vote. Live with it.
Oh, man. If you're hearing our voices, that means it's time for It's This Meets That podcast where we watch terrible movies, so you don't have to, but maybe you should. I'm Russ.
And I'm Jared.
So last week for Trailer Trash, we did the Irish rom-com Leap Year with Amy Adams and Matthew Goode.
I think they'd be offended to hear you call them an Irish rom-com.
Yeah, I guess it's just a rom-com set in Ireland.
Yeah, it's a rom-com set in Ireland with a British guy playing an Irish guy.
I can't believe I didn't even think about that. That's right. So that's offensive right there.
Almost as offensive as you lot wanted the vote. Live with it. Yeah, we're off to a really good start.
Just so like everyone, so all of our dear listeners, so Jared, he reads those lines. I don't know what he's actually going to say. So he pulls a quote from the movie and I actually don't know what he's going to say before. He doesn't write it down for me. It's just like, he just says it. So I get a little surprise reaction. And like, I remember the line from the movie. And yeah. It's
offensive. It's really offensive.
Yeah, it's good. I got you, fucker. All right, so
let's talk about this bastion of progressive politics.
Let's get right into it. So, if I guess you want to give a quick recap if you did not hear Trailer Trash.
Yeah. So we watched Leap Year, obviously. If that isn't clear so far, I don't know what else is. I kind of like the tagline even more than the actual description of the movie. Only because it says less, but somehow says more. So I'm going to go with that, I think, for now.
Do it.
Say, Anna planned to propose to her boyfriend on February 29th. This is not her boyfriend.
Let's say as far as taglines go, that is terrible.
I don't hate it.
It's to the point, I guess.
Yeah. I like this is not her boyfriend. Like, it's sure. I guess she's proposing to someone.
So from the Trailer Trash, quick overall expectations exceeds. What was your? So now we've seen the movie, we've watched trailer. Obviously, what's your?
Yeah, I think this did not meet my expectations. I expected this to be a little worse than Little Italy. And it was much worse than Little Italy.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Yeah,
I would go watch Little Italy again. Shout out to Sarah who said how much she liked that movie. I also liked that movie enough that I would watch it again because it was really funny.
I don't think I would go on my own and watch it again, but if I was pitted between watching this and watching that, I'd probably pick Little Italy.
Oh no, yeah, no question.
Right.
At least that has Christian Haydenson.
Yes, Christian Haydenson.
So huge bonus over this one.
Massive. Yeah, and I think for me, I think it met my expectations.
Okay, so you knew it was going to be bad.
Yeah, I mean that's what we do here. So I mean, I think that's kind of copping out a little bit, but yeah, I mean, in terms of rom-com expectations in the trailer. Which, if you watch the trailer, you will have seen the entire movie.
Yeah, it's a paint-by-numbers rom-com.
It definitely is. It's what we like to call around here a paycheck rom-com.
Yeah.
Paycheck movie. Just cash it in.
Some people who starred in this movie called it a paycheck rom-com. We'll get to that.
We'll get to it. So some quick info on it. It was directed by Anand Tucker. I mean, not a ton of credits, but he's done some things.
Sure.
Two screenwriters are actually a screenwriting team, Deborah Kaplan and Harry Elfont. They've done a handful of things together.
I'm sure they're all really good.
They're all kind of
this is the exception.
Yeah, they're all kind of in the same bucket. They did Josie and the Pussycats. I don't remember that one.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, and then Can't Hardly Wait. No, I didn't see it. Can't Hardly Wait, which I saw that in 1998.
I did not.
Really? Okay.
What was that? Mandy Moore? Maybe.
No, I don't know. Don't ask me.
Okay, fair enough.
I didn't look it up that far. I forget.
Reasonable,
isn't it? Can't Hardly Wait's with oh geez.
Yeah, this is where our listeners' favorite part of the podcast, where neither one of us remembers what we're talking about.
Can't Hardly Wait's with it's with I Know What You Did Last Summer. Girl, what's her name?
Oh boy, I have no idea.
Do I need to cut all of this out now?
No, I don't cut this out. Laurel's gonna love this. Jennifer Love Hewitt
Yeah. Yes. That's right.
and Seth Green.
Yeah. Can hardly wait. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What is this movie?
And if you look up, what's his face, the main kid, I got him.
Ethan Embry.
Yes, thank you. If you look at a photo of him, doesn't he look like my friend Ben? Exactly like him.
Oh yeah, kind of. Yeah. Huh.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to Ben.
Yeah. So there's that.
Huh. Okay. Oh right, that's maybe I have seen that.
Yeah,
That's where Seth Green wants to be a rapper.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
So back to the movie we actually watched here.
Right. Leap year. Yeah.
So actors, we got Amy Adams.
All-star cast. Yeah.
Great, awesome cast, right? So you have Amy Adams who plays Anna.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like every rom-com female lead is named Anna. Just gonna throw it out there. I feel like we should do some digging on that and figure that out. But I feel like everyone's called Anna.
I'll agree with that. And Amy Adams is generally very good, I think.
Yeah, Amy. Right? Absolutely. It's Amy
until
Adams.
Just now.
Until just then. But yeah, Matthew Goode, who plays Declan, right?
Yep.
That's this is not her boyfriend.
Right. Yeah. Also, the guy who I recognize from nothing except Watchmen, maybe.
Yeah,
my favorite movie.
So I thought. And then a personal favorite of mine, Adam Scott.
Oh yeah, same.
You can't go wrong with Adam Scott. I think he would. He plays Jeremy, the boyfriend of Amy Adams' character Anna.
Yeah, the boyfriend that you love to hate. Like,
yes,
he seems at the beginning like Adam Scott, in that I would enjoy him.
Yes,
makes a bunch of very Adam Scott jokes, but then says very out of character things that make him seem like a huge douche. And
yeah, which is also something a lot of Adam Scott characters do. So.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
And then to round out this awesome cast, we have John Lithgow. His dad.
Who I love, yeah.
I mean, come on.
It was in this movie for a minute.
Exactly a minute, and that was it. Gone.
Yeah, super upsetting.
Yeah.
Third Rock from the Sun?
Harry and Henderson's?
Yes, exactly. I love that.
Oh my god!
I haven't even heard that one in such a long time.
I know. I was waiting to throw it out there. Perfect.
I was gonna say, yeah, Amy Adams from Tenacious D, The Pick of Destiny. Famously, where I think she's credited as hot chick or something.
Classic.
Anyway, this movie's got a lot of good people in it.
Yeah, and then so that's the main cast, which is funny because John Lithgow is in it for a minute, and he's listed obviously because he's John Lithgow, whatever. Right. So a lot of times these movies that we do watch are so terrible and barely go anywhere other than to our eyeballs that it's really hard to get production numbers and box office numbers. But this was this was a legit movie. Debatable, but
it's a big budget.
Yeah, big budget. So budget of $19 million. Which
so much
money. I think it was probably mostly the travel costs to get everyone to Ireland and fly them around.
Oh, it's way less money than Speed Kills or half of the John Travolta or Nicolas Cage movies we talk about, but still too much.
Still too much. And then its revenue though, so domestically made 26 million approximately, just under 26 million. Internationally did 6.7, so we did a total of 32 million-ish, which is
wildly profitable for one of the movies that we talk about.
This according to the numbers here, this is probably too good of a movie for us. And then in the DVD,
32 million is what 1,000 times more than The Fanatic. Is it 10,000 times more?
I think it's actually 10,000.
Is it 100,000 times more? It might be 100,000 times more. 32 million is a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. I'm trying to put all the zeros together. Would that movie make 23,000?
Yeah. No. It made 3,000.
Yeah. I was wait, hold on. That's not right. It made
10,000, about roughly 10,000 times as much.
Ballpark. 10,000.
Yeah. I just did the quick math. Roughly 10,000 times as much. Huge. The
DVD sales and Blu-ray sales, the home market sales of this movie made $18 million.
Which is truly unbelievable.
It's mind-blowing. So this movie actually did really, really well, financially speaking. So
sure.
So that's kind of all the quick info and what we're going to get into. You want to do Hollywood pitch?
Sure. I will Hollywood pitch for you. So
Don't hurt yourself.
low hanging fruit here. A little bit of low hanging fruit. Went for this is Chasing Liberty meets The Proposal.
Yeah, I know. So before you even start to try and sell me on that, which you don't have to because I see it.
Of course.
I know how low hanging fruit this is because you looked at the IMDb page, scrolled down to movies like this one, and just clicked over one and picked it.
Well, and also shares Matthew Goode.
Don't you lie to me.
Well, it's so think about it this way. I think it's like another, Chasing Liberty, daughter of the president ends up running away and with a Secret Service agent who she doesn't think is a Secret Service agent, blah, 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 who's Matthew Goode. So Matthew Goode travels around with a girl named Anna. They fall in love along the way, and then they get separated and then reunite later on, just like this movie.
Wait, in Chasing Liberty, is Mandy Moore's character named Anna?
Yeah. Yes. It's the same movie.
When I said that before, I didn't even. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So beautiful. That, and then The Proposal, obviously, I mean, this movie centers on a proposal.
Don't they all?
Don't they all? A little bit of a different plot here, but involves some, a bit of a ruse, which this one does too. There's a point where there's some pretending to be husband and wife, and very much like The Proposal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I got.
Yeah, that's all you need. I went. There's no pretext here. I'm just gonna give it. I went with it's Planes, Trains, and Automobiles meets Leap Year.
Yeah, you have to explain this one to me entirely. Both sides.
So I need to first. So Leap Year. So there was 2 Leap Year movies that came out in the same year in 2010.
Oof.
Obviously Leap Year, the movie we're watching now, and then there's Leap Year, a Spanish film about a very intense relationship, apparently.
So we can't even get the girl this with saying 2009 and 2017. They're both the same year.
Yeah, it's crazy. 2 movies named Leap Year made in the same year.
Okay.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I mean, this whole movie, she tries to take every form of transportation, but cannot get to her destination.
Oh, interesting.
I was going that route. I was going that route. And then meets Leap Year, the Spanish film from 2000, also from 2010. Mostly just because I stumbled across it. And it sounds like a really bad, but potentially good movie.
Yeah, I mean, it looks artsy.
It's a romance, and it's about 2 people meeting and apparently getting into a very intense and violent sexual relationship, which does not happen in this Leap Year, but it's just about people meeting people, really. That's all.
Yeah, it's just people meeting people.
This is more of the rom minus the com, basically.
Yeah, there were at least a few times when I laughed on purpose.
Yeah, okay. Sure.
Like, I think they made me to, they meant to be funny, and I was like, oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So when I think there's ever chuckle. I think there's ever a movie or like a point where you have to like call out like, oh, I think this is supposed to be funny. That's funny. Yeah, that's not working.
Yeah. This movie did a lot of that.
Yes, agreed. So that's my Hollywood pitch.
Love it.
I feel pretty good about mine, actually. I'm really into it.
Nailed it. Yeah.
Yeah. I've never seen the other Leap Year, but maybe I'll watch it.
Yeah. If it's anything like this one.
If it's anything like what I'm reading, I probably won't. All right, so moving right along. What do we get for
fast facts?
Yeah, your favorite. Do it.
Hell yeah.
You're leading this charge.
Yeah, I know we've got a lot of armchair doctors out there in our audience, myself included. Talking body decomp, all that jazz.
Absolutely. This is basically a medical podcast.
Yeah, not sure how much you know about heart surgery. But in theory, our who I wish was the star of this movie, Adam Scott, is a cardiologist.
If only.
And at one point, he's talking about a surgery of one of his patients to Amy Adams, and talking about how you have to go through the spine to get to the heart, which is not a thing any doctor would ever say. Like, I don't think there's really any surgery where you like go through the spine unless it's spinal surgery.
It's so funny because reading this, I didn't even think about that when he was saying it. It just like, it was just him riffing on it was probably just him just making stuff up as he went. It was just like,
I hope so.
I hope so too, but
I don't know. There were so many things in this movie that were like easily Googleable, that I don't think. Yeah, Googleable.
Googleable.
Yeah, well,
You're so
get
Googleable.
to it. Yeah, you're so Googleable. That's a word. But like later on, like geography, for example, like speaking of Google Maps will tell you exactly how far Dingle is from Dublin.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Not what they make it out to be.
No. But it is 2010. So, smartphones were,
Sure.
definitely a thing.
Yeah. You want to take the next one?
Yeah. Other fast fact is that, well, this isn't really, I don't know, it's kind of tough now how to spin this, but definitely very clear. Well,
there's a few, it's a fast fact because it happens a few times. It's not an isolated incident.
True. So there's definitely like, it's very clear that there's like, they are on a set and there's like clear green screening them into places. Mm-hmm. And it's like pretty bad. It's pretty obvious. There's a couple moments. There's one. So this movie opens in Boston, which I didn't know until, well, we knew that in the trailer trash. I think we kind of figured it out, pieced it together.
Yep.
But then when the movie starts, like, oh, she's from Boston. Was she born and raised in Boston? Whatever. It doesn't matter. Yeah. And there's like shots of her walking through the city. And it's just like.
Right. That was when we talked about the Longfellow Bridge.
Yep. And it's just like, okay, yeah, this is pretty clear that she's not actually there. Hey, it's movie magic. That's what you do, right?
Sure.
They turn Toronto into every other city all the time. So
yeah, the thing that drove me nuts though is that they were filming on location in Ireland, at least for parts of this movie, and they did it a bunch in Ireland too, where they're like sitting in the car and there's just really bad green screen going behind them. You're like, wait, aren't you there?
Yeah. You can't have them driving a car and acting at the same time. Come on, dude.
I guess you're right. Matthew Goode, not that talented.
Yeah.
Shout out to Matthew Goode. If you want to be on the podcast, this is what we usually do: insult you and then invite you on a podcast.
It's our highest form of flattery.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Matthew Goode, and speaking of filming in Ireland, the only reason he took this movie was so that he could fly home to London on the weekends. And he came out afterwards and talked about how this is definitely going to be one of the worst movies of the year, talking about how it's an easy paycheck and it's kind of the same thing as Chasing Liberty. Like, I read the interview where he said this, and it's hilarious.
And said at the same time.
But he knew. He knew what
he was getting himself into. Okay, so yeah, let's get into breaking this rom-com down from this point forward. Spoilers galore.
Mm-hmm.
Although, like if you watch
the trailer, yeah, you know what happens.
If you've seen any rom-com ever, you'll kind of know what happens. But
right.
So
before we even got to the credits here of the studios, flashed up on the screen, this movie's rated PG. Parental guide suggested. I had no idea.
Yeah, I felt
kind of bad.
Yeah, like what we're like punching down or something.
I don't know. I mean, we already did that kids movie.
Yeah, I think that was our lowest moment.
Yeah, or huge opportunity. Yeah, but I had no idea. And some scenes in this movie did not feel PG to me.
Yeah, I was gonna say because I think it's listed in other places as PG-13. So I don't know.
Yeah, Amazon says PG. So
hey, whatever they say,
Bezos
right?
Says, yeah.
Right? Whatever the Bez says,
the second richest man in the world. Embarrassing.
Dude, step up your game.
Yeah, pathetic. Letting Elon Musk take you.
That's gonna be so embarrassing. I'd be so angry if I was the Biz.
Right? He's worked so hard. Like your dad doesn't have an emerald mine, or I guess. So anyway.
Here we are. Opening credits. I mean, we got Universal Spyglass. This is legit, man. We're legit.
These are top tier studios, yeah.
Yeah, there's no money laundering going on here that we can see.
Well, right. Who knows what Matthew Goode's doing?
We're there. And then and this is a running theme. I'm gonna call this on now. We get Amy Adams just walking very briskly, and we get a shot of her feet. And I'm gonna throw this out there. I don't know if you caught this with this movie. Did you catch like
No.
there's tons of shots of her feet walking?
Actually, now that you say it, I didn't
Right?
really think about it during the movie, but I definitely noted it organically.
It's
Like through everything I wrote down. I talked about her feet a lot. Now that you
Yeah.
say that,
right.
huh?
Yeah.
Huh?
Huh. So I don't know. I was gonna throw it out there. So that's how we start. Where she's walking. She has feet. Great.
Mhm.
And she's in Boston. And this is the first moment of very clear she's actually not in Boston, but she is walking just like a side scrolling video game left to right, and there's the Boston Common behind her.
Yes, it's great.
With some weird thing in front of her that like in front of the did you catch that? It was such a weird there was like a weird thing.
Oh no, I didn't see the weird thing in front of her. No.
It was just like it was like an ornament or some thing between us and her, and then like the Boston. I don't know.
Huh? No, I didn't catch that. There's a lot of things I didn't catch here. I blacked out like half this movie. Don't care for it.
I guess technically it's not the Boston Common; it's actually the Public Garden. But whatever, we're splicing hairs at that point.
Well, yeah, and they called it the Common a few times in the movie too. So
that's what everyone knows, right? So she's walking briskly. She goes from Boston Common to very quickly Boston Harbor Hotel.
Yeah.
Again, definitely very green screen thing going on.
Right. Which the Boston Harbor Hotel is the Davenport, right? In the movie. In the movie universe.
Yeah. Yes, you're right.
So it's a luxury apartment building, not a fancy hotel like it is in real life.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense then. Okay, because I was like, there's definitely not some apartment building down there called the Davenport.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I mean, there's a Davenport building in Cambridge where they made the couches.
Sure, there's a couple of Davenport buildings over in Back Bay near Northeastern,
but not over there.
Probably not over there.
We're 85% confident.
Yeah. If you know anything about this show, you know that we don't ever. Oh wait, nope. Just Googled it. Yeah. Well, I know it's saying the Davenport in Cambridge. So I guess you're right. There is no fancy Davenport where the Boston Harbor Hotel is.
No, there isn't.
You're right. I was trying to do a little due diligence.
On air, love it.
Mm-hmm.
For a fucking pre-recorded show, I love it.
Mm-hmm. Critical. They don't know that.
Oh shit! I just pulled back the curtain, didn't I?
Yeah, dear listener, it's definitely not Valentine's Day weekend right now. We're coming in hot on St. Patrick's Day, so gather your Guinness and
yeah. I mean, that's what we're drinking here in Boston, aren't we? Because that's what we drink over here.
Yum 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 yum. Go. Drinking right now.
All right, this space is going to be way too late.
Yeah. Sorry.
So she's walking very briskly, very with a purpose, and then I say briskly because that walk from the Common to where she is, that's a haul.
It's a long walk. Yeah.
That's a good like 15-minute walk, 20-minute walk.
I was going to say it's close to a mile. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. At this pace, you're right. This is going to be maybe our longest episode yet.
Well, once we get through all the Boston stuff, then it'll move much quicker because I think we're,
You're right. We care less at that point.
Much less. Okay. So then we just get like this opening is just kind of cutting quickly between just establishing her life, right? And like her personality. There's a shot of her alone at a bar, waiting for someone, we think.
Yep.
She gets grossed out by the bar. She wipes it down with a wet nap. My first thought was like, oh man, if she only knew 10 years later.
Yeah, this is a very pandemic unfriendly movie.
Yeah, it has no idea. And then it has her and Adam Scott, who we think are apartment hunting, which they are.
Right. And like,
it's kind of confusing here, right? Because
are they buying or selling the apartment? Because this is where we get into her career as a stager of apartments, which
is that a thing?
I don't think so. I feel like real estate agents do that, right?
Well, so the whole thing is that her job is that she comes into a place that they're looking to sell, and she dresses it up to make it look like a home.
Right.
So when potential buyers come in, it's kind of like, oh yeah, this looks great, and then they pull the shit out of there.
Which I think is what real estate agents do in fancy places, right? Like,
I feel like we know a real estate agent.
We're not fancy enough.
No, definitely not. Just no. Any place.
Is this a rich people thing? Listeners, please let us know. If you're a rich person.
Bezos would know.
A thing?
Bezos
would know.
He's got so many stagers. He's got stagers for everything.
Oh, man. He staged the moon landing. I like how Amy Adams is the only one that has lines so far, though. Like, I feel like no one's talking for the first 5 minutes of the movie except Amy Adams.
Yeah, that's all you need, right? So then we're a little confused what's going on, but anyways, it's a great place. The Davenport overlooks the common, obviously. Mm-hmm. And then kind of cuts to her getting fitted in a dress, the purple dress we saw in the trailer.
Yep. Right? This is where Caitlin Olsen comes in, who I hope is a main character. All my hopes get dashed immediately.
So then we cut back to like a real quick moment of her and her Adam Scott's character, Jeremy, right?
Well, I think what we have to recognize here, before we even go to the dress fitting, right before that, Adam Scott is telling Amy Adams, should we use the character names? I don't know. I'll just go with the actors for now. Is like, oh, well, we have don't forget our special dinner tonight where I've got a special surprise for you.
And all this build up.
Oh, I hate surprises, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, oh, okay, I know what's going to happen. And then at the dress fitting, that's when, like we mentioned in Trailer Trash, Caitlin Olsen's talking about how she saw Adam Scott going into this fancy jewelry store. And like they're setting the whole first 10 minutes of the movie is setting up how Adam Scott's supposed to be proposing to her.
Yep.
Right.
So so they have that quick moment, and then also they throw out that he's supposed to be packing his bags to be going to Ireland, right? So we get all that information real quick in this scene of the two of them kind of hanging out, right?
Right.
And then we cut back to dress fitting thing with Caitlin Olsen, right?
Yep. And then right after that is that's where we continue the setup of, oh, Adam Scott's proposing tonight. Adam Scott's proposing tonight. Adam Scott's proposing, like beating us over the head with Adam Scott's proposing tonight.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little misdirection here.
And then we get to the bar where John Lithgow continues to beat us over the head that Adam Scott is proposing tonight.
Yeah, so the bar that she was cleaning down with the wet naps and she was sitting on alone in the very opening of this movie is her at the bar because she's going to meet her dad before she goes to the fancy dinner with Adam Scott.
Right.
And she's there, waiting, blah, blah. And then there's some drunken local Bostonite.
I love that guy.
Yeah. He should have stolen the show. He should have just taken over.
I would recast that role with John Gabris, I think. You know John Gabris?
No, I don't. Should I?
Yeah. Look him up later. He's a New York guy, but I feel like he would play this Boston guy perfect.
So she's there alone. Drunk dude asked her to marry him. She says she's engaged, and it's perfect timing. John Lithgow walks into the bar when she says, I'm engaged.
Yep.
Moving very quickly, this opening setup, I feel.
Yeah, agreed.
It's unbelievably fast. So we get John Lithgow, and he's all of a sudden instantly excited. His daughter is getting, is engaged, right?
Yep. So finally proposing to you after 4 years. And the guy at the bar is like, yeah, I proposed to her after half an hour. Great undersold character.
Yeah. So Lithgow wants to buy some champagne, checks his wallet real quick. He doesn't have enough money. I think he's got some money problems. He's like, oh, let's just have beers. She ends up buying.
Yep.
This comes back later.
Yeah, barely.
That's all I know. Yeah, barely, but yeah.
They only put this here so they could have that line later.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's like
it's not good storytelling. It doesn't impact her history. It doesn't impact her present situation at all.
Yeah, no, it changes nothing. It's just like, oh, yeah, whatever.
Just sets up that one line about an hour from now.
And then awkwardly, Lithgow sits down and just straight up introduces himself to the drunk guy.
Which I love. I want to be a drunk guy in a bar and have John Lithgow come over to me and be like, hey, John.
Yeah.
Pleasure.
I'm John. I'm in imports and exports and real estate. Like, did you guys watch an episode of Seinfeld? And just
it's like, okay, Costanza, like, come on.
Pennypacker, or was it
Yeah, next thing you know, he's an architect. That's when I wrote, like, oh, this is moving way too fast. I don't understand.
Yeah.
Because he starts telling a story. He's like introducing himself to the drunk guy saying, oh, well, let me tell you about the time that I proposed, like my wife proposed, or my mother proposed to my father on leap year, blah, blah, blah. And Amy Adams is like, no, he doesn't want to hear the story. Like,
he literally explains the plot again.
Yes.
Like,
and then, like, The drunk guy is pretending to be interested, to his credit.
Yeah. And there was like this really weird overdub moment of did you catch that where like they had this weird shot of like Lithgow's back and she was just like, "Oh, Dad, don't tell that story again." He's just like does the crazy Lithgow laugh and it was like so out of place. Yeah. He was just like, "Why not?" What the fuck was that?
Yep. And then she's like, "All right, well, see you later." She just gets up and walks out.
And he was like, "Oh, I just got here." And she's like, "Yeah, well, you're an hour late." And it's like, see you, John Lithgow. I wonder what that paycheck looked like.
He's never in the movie again?
No, he's never in the movie again.
Well, his voice is. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
So then we get to the dinner, the big famed dinner where Adam Scott is supposed to propose, right?
Yep.
The look on Amy Adams' face, like, this is what good acting looks like. Mm-hmm. Say what you will about Amy Adams, but like the lead up, the hope, the excitement, thinking she's about to get proposed to, and then the slide into crushing disappointment, incredible.
All over the background. Did you catch the music? It felt like it was all of a sudden transitioned to like a cartoon where like it was like waiting for like, you know, the coyote to catch a roadrunner. You know, it was like some goofy, weird
this cartoon music.
Yeah, this is gonna be a trick. You're gonna get screwed.
The music in this movie in general, I think, was horrible. Like they just did a really bad job of I'd much rather go back and watch Get the Girl. Like the music in that was great. Like thematic. It went with the characters. This one,
if you say so. So then here's the big moment, right? And Adam Scott's, he's got a box for her, right?
Yeah, which is, you know, I wish was Gwyneth Paltrow's head, but instead it's earrings.
It's earrings. Jeez, what am I gonna do with these?
Keep my ears warm, I guess.
So, so this goofy music's playing. He hands her the box. It's just earrings. She's completely depressed and saddened. And the music is just like, oh my God, like the music, this cartoony, clowny music just goes immediately downhill. Mm-hmm. They basically should have just played the fail horn from Price is Right. Which is like,
ooh, yeah.
Earrings.
Yeah, you did not get the Showcase Showdown today.
And then Jeremy, Adam Scott's character, just all of a sudden getting hammered with work emails on his BlackBerry.
Right.
Messages.
This is when we start talking about how you go through the spine to get to the heart.
I think you only do that if you're playing like Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, if you're trying to murder the person, yes.
And then, he's busting out ruthless, like
picking up his phone, talking to people. Like, I wanted to like Adam Scott up until this point. I felt like he was kind of I was kind of picturing him as a Parks and Rec Adam Scott character, like quirky, doesn't really know how to do dating, but
it's a rom-com. And he has to be a douche, right?
Yeah, he turns into a huge asshole, and
he can play a great one. So
true. I mean, I guess he wasn't an asshole in that. I was gonna say he had asshole moments in
Eastbound and Down. He played a fantastic asshole in that.
Oh yeah, I wasn't even thinking about that. Yeah. Good point. Huh. Anyway, I love Adam Scott. He's good in everything.
I do too. We can't insult him, so he might not come on the show. And then we get a fun aorta run. I can't even spit it out.
Yeah, I didn't get this part.
A terrible cardiology pun. That was aorta run to go. So he left. He left the dinner. That's it. He just left.
Right.
I feel like after 4 years, you'd be like, yeah, I'm going to come with you, not sit here in this fancy restaurant. And anyways, whatever.
Now, keep in mind that whole scene took maybe like 3 minutes of movie time, maybe less.
Yeah.
It was a really short scene. And then we cut to back home in bed with Amy Adams. Yep. And she's kind of reliving the day here and how disappointed she is, rethinking her life choices. And then inexplicably, we get John Lithgow voiceover telling us the plot again. This happened 3 minutes ago.
Well, it was, it was to show her character thinking about what her dad said. But yeah, it was just like,
stupid. So dumb. He's like, and then he proposed on leap day. Blah blah blah. Yeah, we get it.
Got it.
They could have cut this whole scene, and I wouldn't have missed anything.
No, No, we would have been just totally fine. So then she wakes up and she's doing research about this whole leap day thing.
Right.
A quick Google search will let you know that it's a made up thing.
Right. Exactly. It's just like talking about this tradition is ridiculous. And then one of the great things about watching this on Prime TV, video, whatever, is the commercials. Because is this when you got the commercial too?
Yeah.
Right when she's like, "Oh, this tradition's ridiculous. Want a Reese's?" It's like, wait, what? Was not expecting that. And then there's like a good 2 or 3 minutes of ads.
Yeah.
And then that scene was over. Like, how was that scene over? She was like in the middle of a sentence, I thought.
Well, she read one article about this whole thing to confirm this whole thing. Well, she also talks a little bit about how it's like from the 5th century Ireland, blah, blah, blah. And it's like a legend, whatever. There is no documented evidence that it's a real thing. No. But hey, legend.
Just it's dumb.
And then she's quickly packing her bags and then she's on the death plane.
Yep. Where baffling, another baffling choice. Like, what are they doing on this plane? I guess I like and don't understand why she's sitting next to a priest. Like, it seems like they meant for it to be a plot point and then they kind of forgot about it.
Yeah.
She's like sitting next to the priest talking about her apartment situation, how she's a stager, and they're trying to get this place and this exclusive thing, and they're gonna knock out this wall. And
well, just before, hold on, but just before that though, like the priest starts off the whole conversation like, "Oh, business or pleasure, right?"
Yeah.
He asks her that, right? And it's like, do people actually ask that on a flight? Like, I've never asked someone that, and I don't. No, it's not happening, right? And then she replies, and then she starts on talking about her entire life and rattles on about it. And then he starts getting annoyed. It's like, well, dude,
are you victim blaming right now?
What, the priest?
Yeah,
man.
Are you saying that he was asking for it?
Yeah, you bring a pleasantry up like, hey, business or pleasure? Like, what?
I guess you're right. He did invite the.
Yeah, if you don't want to talk, then don't ask.
I'm totally with him when he falls asleep on her though, because her story is boring.
It is pretty boring. My first thought was I'd seen an airplane. I'm sure you've seen Airplane, right?
Of course.
The scene where basically it was the same setup where like this woman just starts like talking away and they pan back to the guy next to her and he's just a skeleton.
Yeah,
that's great. I was hoping that was going to happen. It didn't. No. It didn't happen at all. Stupid.
That would have been funny.
And then we get crazy amounts of turbulence. Shit's
right.
This plane is going fucking down.
Oxygen masks are dropping. Like this plane is going down. And at the same time, like, it doesn't seem like it's bad enough for the mask to drop. Like, nothing. No, I don't know.
It's gonna be pretty bad if the masks drop, I think.
And like, why is no one putting them on? If the masks drop, you put them on, right?
Oh shit moment. I think you're like, I don't know. Have you ever had a mask drop?
No, because it's hard. I feel like that's difficult.
It's like a level 9 of turbulence, I think.
Yeah. Yes. It's definitely not a common occurrence, which is why when they come down, you put them on, and nobody on the plane put them on.
Probably at that point, if those things are dropping, it's like, hey, you're fucked. Whatever.
Yeah, and at the same time, like, it didn't look bad enough at all for the mask to come down in the first place. No. And so that's when the pilot comes on, he's like, "Yeah, sorry about the turbulence. It's worse than I thought. I guess we're gonna have to like land in Wales instead." Like,
yeah,
wait, why?
Right? Like he's like, I think what do you say? Overestimated? I'm like, I think you underestimated the turbulence.
Yeah.
And either way, however you estimated it, not what you want to hear from the captain of the fucking plane.
No.
Like,
and also,
sorry guys, no. I kind of missed that one. I guess this is pretty worse than I thought.
Yeah, like, I've been on some rocky flights, and you still don't land. like you just got, like, unless it's going to be a tornado or a hurricane, you just gotta keep going and say, everyone relax a little bit.
It'll be all right. Actually, I don't think they say anything. They don't say anything. Just like, hey, we're gonna hit some turbulence and put the seatbelt sign on, and that's it. And then they're like, I'm busy. Right. I'm busy fucking working up here. Like,
yeah, I guess if the mask drop, then you have to say something.
Yeah, I think if mask drop, yeah, it's like, all right, guys, sorry. Might want to put those on.
Yeah, my bad. We're depressurizing. Like, what?
I think I underestimated this. Yeah. But this is also the moment where we get the line from her from the trailer, right?
Right, which I don't want to die without getting engaged.
Should I do my Amy Adams impersonation again?
Please.
I'm not gonna die without getting engaged.
Your Amy Adams is like,
how is that? It's pretty good.
It's like Kermit meets Seth Rogen.
I'm not going to die without getting engaged. It's pretty
Miss
good.
Piggy.
I think it's. I think it's a pretty solid Amy Adams right there.
Yeah, very good.
Thank you. So yeah, Dublin Airport is just closed because weather.
Yeah, sure.
And they're like, hey, we're off to Wales. So they're flying past Dublin and landing on Wales across the way.
Yeah, and past a couple other airports too. Like
Potentially. Yep.
no, definitely. I looked it up. In between things here, I looked it up because I was mad about it. There's like Shannon Airport is one that's closer. Like a lot of other options.
So many options. And then we get to the airport in Wales here. Anna is trying to plead her case to the two.
This is when I really started to hate her.
Yeah. When there's two women behind the airline counter, and Amy Adams comes up and is just like trying to, hey,
trying to Karen her way out of the situation.
100%.
Excuse me, I have a really important problem. Like, can't you just get me on the next flight? Like,
and then I think some of the best sarcasm ever by the two ladies behind the airline at the airline counter there. They're just like, oh yeah, can we just we'll just give Dublin Airport a call and tell them to reopen. Yes, well played.
They nailed it.
And then so now she's on to what's the next mode of transportation? Wales to Dublin boat, right? So
yep.
Again, another shot of Anna's feet, Amy Adams' feet walking. And she's now at the ferry place.
At the ferry counter, yeah.
Ferry counter?
Yeah, well, she like walks up to the counter like we're to buy a ticket for the ferry, right?
Right. And the guy behind the counter says, ferries aren't running. What does he say exactly?
And I love this. I love this exchange because this is when Amy Adams goes, "What's wrong with this country?" Which, first of all, is an offensive thing to say when you're traveling. Amy Adams, Anna, is being a huge Karen in the first place, and then at the same time, also being a terrible, stereotypical American tourist.
Yes,
of like, what's wrong with this country?
Yeah.
But I love the response from this guy. He's like, well, I usually blame the government. This time it's the weather.
Oh, it's so good. And then she's like, gets it all Karen'd up and she's like, whatever, I'll get my own boat. And she hires.
Did I miss something? Like, how did she get on this boat?
She just gets a boat. She's on a boat. She's on a boat now, motherfucker. And she's on a boat, and it's definitely the perfect storm moment. Crazy weather, because that's what everyone's told her. That's why she's landed a plane.
Yep.
And I actually think we have a goof at this point, don't we?
Yeah. Well, which part? Oh, yes, we do. So when they're crossing the sea here, the captain of the boat says that it's because of the storm. They have to stop at Dingle instead of Cork.
Right.
Which, if you look at a map, like any person who made this movie could have looked at a map. Anyway. You actually have to go way past Cork to get to Dingle. It's on the opposite side of Ireland.
Yes. So she went past and now is boating past again and then past another spot that she could have stopped, that she wanted to stop at, and is now somewhere else. Everything
she's doing is less efficient than just waiting a little bit at the airport for the next flight.
Yeah.
Like, she could have waited till the next day, and her excuse was, well, it's almost leap day and I have to get there before then because I got to buy a dress. I got to do this. I got to do that. And you're like, okay, just wait a few hours. But instead she tries taking a boat, gets stranded way on the west side of Ireland for some reason. Like literally the opposite of Dublin.
Yeah. And maybe this is movie magic. So like if she was in Cork, I think Cork's a pretty, I've never been to Cork, but I'm assuming it's a fairly decent sized town where it's like, oh, she can just hop on a bus and just head to Dublin from there. Whereas like if she's in Dingle, she could still get to Cork and hop on a bus and get whatever. Anyway.
Yeah. Or rent a car, anything really.
There's so many options. God damn it. So then we get more shots of her feet as she's not in Cork, but she's in Dingle.
Walking up to the pub,
the tavern, and she walks into the tavern. The tavern that
Oh yeah. Sorry, what you said? Tavern of the
No, no,
Beach.
no. That's it. That's it. That's all I had.
Oh.
We're there. We're here. We've arrived to your moment.
Perfect. I was just say I love the lines coming out of these old guys,
So good.
who should be the stars of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can take the man out of the fish, but you can't take the fish out of the water.
I don't even know what that means. Do you?
No one does. No, I love it. And then they assume that she's South African out of nowhere. Do you remember that part?
Yeah, yeah. Well, they had three guesses. First was Australia, I think.
I think so.
It was Australia, and then it was South Africa, and then it was something else. I was like, "What? No!" And she's like, "No, I'm American."
Yeah. No, it's by the very obvious accent.
Yeah.
And like, why does the pub look like it's closed? Because I get that they're trying to sell it like it's hard times maybe, and the pub's in trouble, but
Yeah. I don't know.
they're serving drinks. Like,
Yeah, it's like I don't know.
why are all the chairs stacked on tables?
Yeah. Like, is it that late? I don't think it is, but
No.
so
I
then
have a lot
she's
of gripes with the time in this movie.
so she's asking a bunch of questions about how to get from where she is to Dublin. There is another goof here about she asks about is there a train?
Yep.
And one of the two old guys at the end of the bar who were telling the fish story. One of the old guys says that the last train left Dingle in 1987. According to the internet, the last train from Dingle left in 1953 on the narrow gauge line to Tralee.
Yeah, which
Tralee.
I love this goof because, like, again, there were so many things they could have just Googled really quickly. Like, why would you put in such a specific line if it's wrong? Like saying the last train left Dingle in 1987 when that's something you could probably figure out really quickly.
Yeah, and just say 1953.
Yeah, why? Why would you do this? This movie sucks.
Well, 2010 there wasn't the internet, so
Right, I forgot that hadn't been invented yet. Yeah.
So then we get she's here a little disheveled, and then we got, of course, our hero Declan.
Yep.
Good. He's the bartender chewing on his pen.
Yep. Always chewing.
Definitely doesn't give a shit. Right. Nope. She comes up to him, asks for a cab number. He pulls out a number, gives it to her. She goes to a phone. She calls the number.
Classic prank.
He answers, and it's just, well, you don't know he answers, but she's like, "Hey, I need a cab to Dublin."
I'm sorry, I don't drive American redheads.
How did you know I wasn't? Oh no, sorry. How did you know I wasn't a redhead? It's Miami Adams again.
Yeah, perfect.
Nailed it. And he walks around the corner of the bar and is like, "Oh, he's also the taxi driver. Yay."
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. I don't know.
This guy does it all. And then proceeds to talk about how much he hates Dublin, how it's a place for cheaters and chancers.
It's gonna all come back later. It makes sense now, but yeah, he's just shitting on Dublin. And then
I love how this is when he throws out his wager, right? Like, this is when we come thinking he's like, yeah, like, well, I wouldn't drive you to Dublin if you offered me 500 euros. And like the old guys are like, Jesus, I'd sell my wife for 500 euros. I love those guys.
Those guys are pretty great. So we have a benchmark.
Yeah, they're the balcony in the Muppets.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
So here we are. We're in this place, and now she's like, "Well, I need a place to stay." And well, I think he says he drive her, right?
Yes. Well, no, not yet. Not yet.
No, you're right. Not yet.
Yeah, this is when we get a lot more from the old guys talking about how it's bad luck to start your journey on a Sunday, and they're like, "Well, no, it's actually bad luck to start on a Tuesday." Like, no, it's bad luck if you start
Wednesday
on a Friday.
Or Friday, yeah. A lot of that conversation.
Most days are bad luck is what we come to.
Yeah, that's gonna be a running joke between the old guys throughout this movie. I think it happens like 3 or 4 times where.
Yeah, and this is where we get the
kind of like us. It's like they're like us, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. Facts don't matter.
No, it doesn't matter.
We don't do anywhere near enough research.
No, you have the internet.
Yeah. Sorry, dear listener. Please definitely fact check us on everything.
We're a 2-screen podcast.
Don't take anything that we say as facts.
We're a second screen podcast where you listen to what we say and then you should Google it immediately to see if it's right or not.
Exactly.
Points if we're right. Because we didn't.
And this is we get the line from the trailer, the "I'm your man" by the drunk guy falling over. But this is where we don't get the "I'll drive you" as it was hinted in the trailer until a little bit later on.
Oh.
Right. This is when he brings her up because she needs a place to stay. Like, they're not going to leave tonight anyway because it's bad luck or something.
Right. Yeah.
So he gives her a room upstairs because this is also
Declan.
the inn.
Yeah, Declan. Yeah. Because there's also the hotel because she asked for a hotel and it's also this is it. So.
Yep, it's the same building. And then she's asking for some food, and they're talking about a hang sandwich. Now, did you look this up?
I didn't. Did you?
I did.
Good. I'm glad one of us did.
Yeah, for once, I looked up a thing, which Amy Adams has a great line. Hang is a verb, not a sandwich.
It's a pretty good line. I'm into it.
Pretty funny. But apparently, hang is just like how people with Irish accents say ham.
I was gonna say it's got to be like a ham and cheese sandwich. I think it's just a ham and cheese sandwich.
I think it's like ham and cheese and mustard and what. Yeah.
Because when he said it, I was like, this is probably just a.
As far as I know, hang sandwich is not a thing. It's a ham sandwich.
Just a ham sandwich. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, classic. Accents.
Mm-hmm. And this is when she sets up shop for the night, and she's. Just starts destroying the place.
She just trashes the fucking room like a rock star in a hotel. Like, what are you on tour? Like, relax. Like everything goes wrong. She's trying to plug in her stupid phone because her BlackBerry's dead. She rips apart the bed. Thing smashes. Everything's smashed. Everything's falling over. There's dust falling down on the guy's drinks down the bar.
Yeah, she pulls the bed off a wall, slams it across the room into like a wardrobe.
Easy, Karen. Easy.
Yeah. Like just behaving badly.
And then she goes to plug in her phone to charge her phone.
Yep.
This is classic, stupid American going traveling, internationally doesn't understand plugs.
Right.
Then she plugs in
an adapter.
Yeah, you get an adapter. She plugs in her thing and blows out the power for the entire village.
Which not how this works.
I don't know. I don't know the electrical layout for this village, but that seems a bit.
No, like Ireland is not backwards like this. like Dingle is not even that small of a town. Like they make it seem like it's the kind of town where there's 4 people and 12 sheep, and it's not.
They make it seem like a village because that's what they call it.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I'm like that's not how power works. It's not gonna. And even if it was, let's just say that there is some way you could overload the power for the whole town.
Let's just go with it
by plugging something in. Why would this guy put her in the room where you plug the stuff in and it fries the whole village?
Right.
I don't know. Nothing makes any sense.
I don't either. It didn't take us long to get to nothing makes any sense. This is good. Usually it's a little bit longer, but okay, we're there.
Is it good or bad?
I don't know. We'll see. So she trashed the place. She blows the power out. We get a little back and forth between the two of them. He comes up. What are you doing up here? And she's like, you fried my BlackBerry. And he's like, you fried the entire village. Joke from the trailer. And then we cut to the next morning in Dingle. And she calls Jeremy and lets him know that she's in Ireland and he's excited. They're excited. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, for the most part, things seem to be pretty good between them, right?
Well, and that's the thing is like it seems like they're in a pretty healthy relationship for the most part. And yet we're trying to be led to believe that Adam Scott is like scum of the earth over here. I don't know. Like he definitely has some moments.
Yeah. He's just a little disconnected. That's all,
but they've been dating for a long time. And I don't know.
4 years. Yeah. It's like, you got to figure this out. Like if he's not there,
right.
Then come on. I don't know. Right.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, if you're an expert on relationships, send us an email.
Yeah, definitely send us an email. Tell us how to do it right. One thing we did forget though, when she was in the hotel room and destroying the whole place, there was a photo that dropped of Declan with a woman and another guy.
Right.
That's kind of important. That's key. Forgot about that. It's
not the threesome that he had. Spoilers.
No. It's not. So then we're next day and we basically get to, he agrees to drive her right to Dublin for €500.
Well, before he does that, we get the backstory for why he would do that.
Yeah, I didn't go back. So yeah, tell me. Yeah, that's right. He's got like some cash flow problems, but
it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It seems like he's about to lose his bar/restaurant/hotel/ cab company.
Yeah, like the only place in town, basically. Like,
yeah, it seems like it's the only business in town.
Yeah, why would they want to shut that down?
Maybe this is his landlord. I don't know. I really didn't.
It was so strange. Yeah, I was like, I couldn't tell. He said he was going to take my kitchen. I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, some kind of creditor that presumably Matthew Goode, Declan owes a bunch of money to, where generously gives him 10 days to come up with €1,000, which sure. I don't know how you come up with €1,000 in 10 days unless you're, I don't know.
Matthew
Seems like a lot of money.
And you figure out a plan.
And that's when he offers to drive her for 500.
Right. And I thought at this point, two things at this point. I thought there was going to be 2 points of conflict. One, I thought they were going to come into a whole Adam Scott's character was cheating on her in Dublin.
Oh, yeah.
And then the other thing was, I thought the whole money thing here was going to be more of a thing, like more of a, like, oh, you only drove me just because you wanted money and that's all you wanted. That's all, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, I guess, yeah, that's all he did.
Oh, yeah. There are a lot of ways they could have made this better.
They didn't. So he agrees. So $500 drive to Dublin.
Which, where's he going to get the other $500?
You worry about
it's only half of what he needs. Yeah.
You worry about the other 9 days. And then there's a black cat that walks in front of her as they're getting into the car.
Yep.
And sure, that's it.
Now, all right, I did look a little bit back to our geography flubs and whatnot here. Did you end up looking up how far Dingle is from Dublin?
Not exactly, but it's a pretty good ride, isn't it?
No, it's about a 4-hour drive. It's not that bad.
I was gonna say, I thought it was like 6 or 7, but okay, yeah.
No, it's like driving from Boston to New York. Like, it's not like it's that far.
That's not far at all.
Yeah, you could easily do it in an afternoon.
Yes, and drive back.
Sure. Right. So, like, the premise of this taking multiple days, like, she could have just waited for a flight. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Everything about this made me furious.
There we are. We've hit it. Jared's furious.
I don't know if there's Uber in Dingle, but you could
not
probably
2010, man. Not in 2010.
Oh, I guess you're right. Was 2010 pre-ride sharing?
No,
can't be.
No,
definitely not. Definitely. Well,
it was like just starting up around there, right?
Yeah, it probably was just starting. So maybe it wasn't widespread in Ireland at the time. Either way, $500 for 500 euros. So that's like, $600.
You're the exchange guy. That's
for a 4-hour drive seems like a great rate.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway,
okay.
So yeah, you're right. The black cat crosses the road. It's a really good omen for what's to come.
Yeah, the old guys yet again come out and tell her you shouldn't be bad luck driving on a Saturday and a Sunday or Monday or Wednesday.
Yeah. You can't start a journey if you see a black cat. And the other guy's like, no, it's a magpie. You can't start a journey if you see a magpie.
And the crazy, these guys aren't wrong because it does go all to hell.
No, Statler and Waldorf, by the way. Is who we're
Waldorf. Yeah, that's it. Jesus, we're terrible.
And this is when I don't know. We get introduced to the car, which is a Renault 4.
Yep.
For the gearheads in our audience.
Oh, good pull. I didn't even pull that up. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, he also says it explicitly and talks about it a bunch.
Oh, does he? Oh, did I totally miss? I must have.
Yeah, you blacked out that part.
Jesus. Okay. Whoops.
Cool. This is the leading up to the suitcase scene where she's like, oh yeah, this is a present for my boyfriend Jeremy. It's a Vuitton. And he's like, a Vuitton what?
A Louis Vuitton. Yeah.
And she's like, oh no, a Louis Vuitton. He's like, you named your suitcase? Like, she's a crackpot. You're like, this is still Ireland. It's not like this guy lives in like he's not a nomad in Mongolia. Like why wouldn't he have heard of Louis Vuitton? It's really upsetting to me.
It's not like it's that ridiculous.
No, like it's a very common brand name.
So it's off to a rocky start. We got the black cat. We got the luggage. We got they're kind of button heads a little bit here. And then we hop on a road trip, right?
Right. Which I hope. So we get on the road, and immediately this is when we get to the trailer scene of the sandwich tossing.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And like, do you think it's a hang sandwich?
I think it is.
It must be, right?
No, I definitely think it is. And this is this whole them driving kind of scene is all like showing how different they are. She's very in control. She's clean cut. She's money, blah, blah, blah. And this is, fancy dinners. And he's the slob who's eating a sandwich while he's driving and listening to punk Irish music and blah blah blah, right?
Well, yeah, so I have comments about that.
Yeah. What do you got?
Like, are we listening to Flogging Molly while
I'm
we're driving around Ireland?
I don't know. And then she goes back into telling a story about basically restating the plot of the story yet again.
Yes, for the fifth time now, we're
Fifth
getting
time.
explain to me how women are allowed to propose on a leap day.
God. And then
Just for the people in the back that didn't hear it.
yeah, one more time. Explaining the whole thing, what she's doing, why she's here. Okay, got it. Catch her one up if you missed the first 10 minutes of this movie. And then he just kind of he's pretty great here. He just kind of shuts it down. He's just like, yeah, that's pretty stupid.
Yes.
And he's just like, yeah, he's like, that just seems like a way to trap a guy that he doesn't want to get married.
Yeah.
And
which, spoilers, it is.
It is. And then that's where we lose the sandwich out the window, which is very heartbreaking for me. You can't throw a
this
good
is
sandwich out the
also
window.
our big green screen, our first big green screen, or second big after the Boston.
Yeah, we got a second big one. They're just
like,
whatever.
Looks laughable.
It is pretty comical. It reminds me of like an old James Bond movie, like from Sean Connery days. Where like
it reminds me of like a Monty Python movie.
It is pretty goofy. And then so she tosses the sandwich out the window, which in my mind I would have been like, we're pulling over.
Furious.
I'd be furious, and I'd be like, I pull over, you're walking, but I'm too nice. I wouldn't actually do that. But in my mind, I'd be like, I'm leaving you here.
And she's giggling like it's no big deal.
Like, that was my sandwich. Like,
yeah. Oh, I'd be so mad. And then she grabs the Flogging Molly cassette tape and also tosses it out the window. Unbelievable.
So then we're still driving, road trip, right? And then we hit the cows. We saw this in the trailer. Cows are blocking the road because that's what happens when you're out in the countryside, right?
Right.
And now she's getting out of the car. We got our hero there sitting eating apples, and she's again always chewing, and she catches up to cows in her last 24 hours and how shitty it's been.
Yeah, which is like, come on. Like, she's saying, she literally says, I've spent the last 24 hours in every layer of hell. Have you?
I think you brought that upon yourself there, Karen.
Have bad things happened to you before? Because this seems pretty low.
This like on the scale of things, like
oh, I have a 4-hour drive ahead of me. Oh no.
Yeah. All just so you can go and propose to your boyfriend in Dublin?
Unbelievable.
Who hasn't proposed to you yet? And you guys haven't had this conversation yet? Come on.
Right. And like Amy Adams, shockingly good at effective at herding cows. I was kind of surprised.
I was too. She did a very good job. I will say Declan does have some of the best lines though. He's when she goes up to move the cows, he's like, why don't you propose something to them?
Oh yeah.
That's pretty. I see what you did there. It's pretty good. And then as the cows move, she's walking back. She's very proud of herself. We get another foot shot of her walking and her stepping into cow shit.
Which I don't know why Declan's laughing, because she's gonna be wearing shit shoes in the car now for
shit shoes.
Yeah, this is terrible for all of them.
Yeah, this is not a good thing. So then they have a back and forth about the shoes, and she goes and leans on the hood of the car.
Well, don't gloss over the back and forth here, because this line gets repeated 8 more times in the movie.
Oh, does it?
When he's talking about just put them in the wash, they'll be fine.
Oh yeah.
About her $600 shoes which for the listeners, when we talk about her feet so much, everything that she's always wearing heels. She's always wearing really aggressive heels.
Yes.
And she does a lot in these heels.
Yeah. It's kind of like she's like doing like action star type stuff in these.
Yes. Yes. Like Amy Adams should have gotten a huge pay raise, in my opinion, for the shenanigans she's pulling here.
Agreed. So she goes and is leaning up against the car with the shit shoes, and the car starts rolling backwards. I have a lot of problems with this at this point.
Same.
I'm pretty annoyed.
How did this happen? Like, did you leave the car in neutral?
Does it not have an emergency brake?
Yeah. Does it not have park?
Or if it's a stick shift, could you put it in gear when you shut it off? So it doesn't roll.
Sure. Lots of options.
and the car rolls. Some crazy hijinks. They're chasing after the car. He jumps in the hood, and it just goes right down the hill and ends up in a pond.
Yeah, I guess you're right. It's probably not an automatic because it's an old Renault 4.
And then we're on now the road trip is now walking trip.
Which, unbelievable.
Yes.
This is another like geographical thing. We haven't gotten to it yet, but like over the next, I don't know, few hours, they're going to end up walking to, I think it's called like Tapper Nanny, something like that. Tapper Penny. There's a town that's like almost exactly halfway between Dingle and Dublin. So it's like a good 34-hour walk. And they're like, and they do it in like a couple hours. That's like, drives me insane. They do that in a couple hours, and yet somehow it still takes 3 days to get to Dublin.
Like at this point, just walk to Dublin.
Sure. Right. Yeah. That's like a good 68 hour walk roughly.
Just go
about,
for it.
About 3 days. Yeah. 3 days of straight walking.
So they're walking through the beautiful landscape of Ireland, and a van drives by, right?
Yeah.
Pulls over. She waves it down. Declan's like, don't get in that van, whatever, right? He knows what's up.
Right.
Irish fella comes out and he's like, hey, yeah, I'll give you going to Dublin. I'm going to Dublin too. Again, another stupid American thing. It's like, come on, man.
How did she not assume these guys were going to steal her suitcase? Because then
I assume everyone that I don't know is going to steal my suitcase.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when they look at your suitcase and go, oh, that's a really nice suitcase.
Like, who says that? Only people that want to steal it.
Right. Dumb.
Or stupid criminals who
Just think back for a second here to the premise of the trip that we're on. She's paying Declan $500 and plus the extra 100 for the hotel room.
Yep.
Plus
Damage.
whatever. Yeah. Like this seems like the stupidest possible way for him to make €1,000, right?
Yes.
like this whole trip seems ill-conceived.
Yes.
To say the least.
Yeah. No, none of it makes any sense.
Okay.
We're at that
on
point.
the same page.
No, we're at that point.
Yeah. So then predictably, they steal her shit
and they just drive away, and that's it.
Like, at least we get to look at Ireland. I feel like there are some good Ireland shots in this one.
Yeah,
scenery.
absolutely. Yep.
Have you been?
Yeah. I've been to Dublin, but I haven't done the countryside or gone further out.
Okay.
So have you?
No, not at all. It looks beautiful though.
Dublin is great. Shout out to everyone I know in Dublin.
Yeah, a couple of dubbers. Is that what you call them?
No.
Yeah, shout out to all you dubbers out there.
They'd probably laugh at me if I said that. So we're walking, and we're walking. More Anna
Fellowship
feet
of the
shots.
Ring.
Yeah, Fellowship of the Ring. Yeah, more Anna feet shots of her walking. And then they end up in a town in a bar. Oh yeah.
How did she get so far behind him? Because like they separate seemingly, and then he's drinking a beer in the pub.
Yeah. So she had this. I didn't get this either. I was like, what's going on? So it's just her walking, and then she's walks into a pub, and he's just sitting there already, like halfway through a beer, meaning he's been there for a good 2 minutes. I get it.
Right.
At least.
And this is when I was hoping for. Did you watch Game of Thrones?
Yes.
All right. Help me out here. This might be a little bit of a drawn out thing.
Oh, boy. I'm not a hardcore, so let's go.
All right. When the Hound and Arya are like wandering around the countryside?
Yes.
When it's season 4 or 5?
Yeah, right around there. Yeah.
And I feel like they get stuff taken from them, right? Like when they're, I don't know, bullied by some random people that are working for the capital.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then they go and find those people at the inn, and he like gets a meal at the inn, and they're like sitting there, and then he goes and kills it. Like that's what I was hoping for. This was going to be one of those kinds of scenes where he murders everyone.
Yeah. Oh, is that it?
Yeah, it was kind of it just reminded me of that. I was like, oh yeah, the movie's gonna get good. Like we're almost halfway through. Like this is gonna be, we're excited about this.
Well, so he I was waiting for one more beat from you on that.
Nope.
That's
I just
fine.
want murder. Yeah, I want murder.
So they're in this bar. She's looking for a cab still, and she butchers the name of one of the bartenders, who, by the way, the bartender has a soccer jersey, as we say here in the States, a soccer jersey on.
Right.
Is it actually his name on the back of his shirt? Owen?
I don't think so. I didn't think so.
Either. So she obviously butchers it. She's like, "Oh, Eogan." He's like, "Yeah, it's Owen." Mm-hmm. Dumbass American. And then so she's like going over to the phone to like call a cab, and in the back room are the 3 lads who had stole her luggage, hanging out.
Which is why I brought up the scene from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, no, I got you. I get where you're going. I was just
Yeah,
finishing
you're
this
right.
up. Yeah.
We didn't introduce that part yet.
I'll have to do some reverse editing here.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. So then there's the three guys sitting in the back there, and they're going through all of her luggage, drinking some pints, having a good time. And she goes and confronts them, and then they kind of get a little, aggressive. And then Declan comes in as, the John Wayne trying to save the day. It also became a Western.
Yep. A scuffle ensues.
And we got ourselves a good old fashioned bar fight.
A surprisingly better fight scene than I expected.
Yeah. I agree. Like, I was not expecting it to be
maybe the best scene in the movie.
Yeah, actually, I think it was. Even Amy Adams gets involved. She throws water in a guy's face, kicks someone.
Oh yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
Unless you're going to say the uncomfortable kissing scene later, but I think this is the best scene otherwise.
I think this is the best scene. No, definitely. They're a team. There's a little hint that they could be a team,
Right.
So,
but also, like, how did they win? Because there were three guys. They all look pretty big.
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember. He punched some people, and then the other guy just ran. I don't know.
Yeah, he did all right.
And
then I'm really glad that the bartender finally came in, though, and was like, guys,
what are you doing?
Get out of here.
Yeah, just like, you're trashing my bar. Get the fuck out of here.
You can't pull this shit in a bar.
What are you doing? It's 2010. But I think... okay, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, you go ahead. This is you. You do this.
Oh, I was just going to say it's probably a good time to cut the episode.
That's crazy. I was going to say the same thing.
Wild how that works. It's like we planned it.
Just like as if we'd planned it.
So thanks for listening, and we'll be back on Thursday with part 2. In the meantime, you can follow us on Instagram at It's This Meets That, and we're ITMTpod on Twitter.
Or if you're feeling old fashioned, you can send us an email at itsthismeetsthat@gmail.com. But as always, all of our episodes can be found on itsthismeetsthat.com. Thanks for listening.